They'll tell you to be humble, they'll tell you to wait your turn, they'll tell you to settle for good enough. But you weren't born to fit into someone else's expectations. You weren't built to stay on level one forever. There is a version of you that the world hasn't even met yet, and it's time to unleash that. You've got fire in your soul and storms in your chest, but for too long you've dimmed your own light to make others comfortable. You've played small so nobody would call you arrogant. But being powerful isn't arrogance, it's alignment, it's truth. It's the echo of your own potential, refusing to stay quiet. You were never meant to live in limitation or stay confined by the expectations of others. Somewhere deep inside, you know this. You felt it every time you lowered your voice so someone else could feel louder. You've sensed it every time you shrunk your dreams just enough to make others comfortable. But the truth is, you were born with a force inside you that's too powerful to be boxed in. Playing small is not humility. It's self-abandonment in disguise, and it's killing your growth. There's a reason why you feel uncomfortable in environments that no longer match your energy. There's a reason why you feel frustrated in conversations that pull you backwards instead of pushing you forward. That isn't arrogance. That's alignment trying to wake you up. Staying small might help you fit in, but it will never help you rise. You weren't created to simply blend in. You were built to break molds, to disrupt cycles, to rewrite narratives. And none of that can happen while you're still pretending to be okay with average. Think about it. Every time you hold back your thoughts, suppress your creativity, or ignore your instincts just to keep peace or avoid judgment, you're reinforcing a false version of yourself. You're feeding a lie that says you must be less to be accepted, but the world doesn't need less of you. It needs the raw, loud, fierce, unstoppable version of you, the one you've been hiding behind fear and doubt. Playing small is often rooted in the fear of rejection. You worry that if you show up fully, people won't like you. You fear outshining others. You've been conditioned to believe that being too much is a flaw. But the truth is, people's comfort is not your responsibility. Your light was not meant to be dimmed just so others don't have to squint. When you deny your gifts, you rob the world of something only you can offer. And what if someone else's discomfort is simply a sign that you're growing beyond their level of comfort? Here's the reality. Growth demands expansion, and expansion requires space. You can't step into your next level while clinging to the corners of your current one. Sometimes you have to outgrow people. Sometimes you have to disappoint those who only love the limited version of you. And that's okay. Because every time you choose your higher self over your smaller self, you declare to the world that you're ready for more, ready for truth, ready for impact. You've played small long enough, you've hidden your power, questioned your voice, doubted your worth, but look where that's gotten you, frustrated, exhausted, and wondering what life could look like if you finally gave yourself permission to be all in. Well, here's your permission slip. You were not born to stay quiet. You were not born to stay stuck. You were born to rise, to shine, to lead. No more shrinking, no more waiting, no more apologizing. Because the moment you stop playing small, everything shifts. Your energy changes, your voice deepens, your presence commands attention. Doors start opening, opportunities start aligning. Why? Because you finally stopped settling. You finally started showing up as the version of you that the world has been waiting for all along. This is your time, this is your level. Step into it fully, because you were never meant to stay small. You were meant to own every inch of your greatness, and the world is ready for it. Are you? That feeling you get deep in your chest, the unease, the discomfort, the restless energy that never seems to settle, that's not something to ignore. That's not anxiety or confusion. That's the sound of growth knocking at your door. That's your soul trying to evolve. And every time you try to silence it, distract it, or numb it with routine, you only delay the inevitable. Because the truth is, you've outgrown your current space. Your spirit knows it, your heart feels it, and your mind keeps trying to rationalize it. But evolution isn't logical, it's spiritual. And it starts when you stop ignoring the inner pull to rise. We live in a world that teaches us to fear discomfort. We're told to seek ease, to chase comfort, to avoid tension. But comfort is not the goal, it's the enemy of growth. The moment you feel truly comfortable is the moment you stop expanding. And that's dangerous, because everything you're meant to become lives just beyond your comfort zone. That restlessness you feel, That's your next level calling out for you. It's the higher version of you saying, I'm ready. The only question is, are you listening? Too many people spend years trying to silence that call. They ignore their passions, they suppress their instincts, they distract themselves with routines, relationships, or responsibilities that keep them safe but stagnant. They trade purpose for predictability. But no matter how hard you try to stay in the same place, life will keep pushing you. You'll keep feeling that inner pressure, that tug on your spirit, because destiny won't let you sleep forever. Restlessness is often mistaken for dissatisfaction, but they're not the same. You're not ungrateful. You're not spoiled. You're not confused. You're evolving. And when you evolve, the old version of you becomes too tight. It doesn't fit anymore. You try to live in yesterday's mindset with today's dreams, and it creates friction. That friction is the signal that you need to shift, to stretch, to break free. But growth requires courage. It asks you to let go of what's familiar, even if it's comfortable. It asks you to take risks, to face the unknown, to embrace uncertainty. And most people aren't willing to do that. They'd rather silence the restlessness than answer it. But the ones who rise, the ones who change their lives, they don't run from that feeling. They follow it. They follow it even when it's scary, even when it doesn't make sense, even when no one else understands. Because deep down they know that the version of themselves they're meant to become can't be birthed in comfort. It can only be forged in discomfort, in the fire of transformation, in the stretch of becoming more. If you're feeling restless right now, that's a gift. It means you're not done. It means your journey isn't over. It means you still have levels to unlock. But the key to that next level isn't out there, it's inside you. It starts with listening to your soul, trusting your gut, believing that your instincts are divine, not delusional. So stop numbing the restlessness. Stop silencing your spirit. Let it speak. Let it guide you. Let it lead you into the unknown, because everything you've ever dreamed of is waiting for you on the other side of comfort. Your restlessness is not a flaw. It's a compass, and it's pointing you toward your destiny. Follow it. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. Somewhere along the way, people made you feel guilty for your ambition. They made you question your desire for success, for wealth, for recognition, for impact, as if wanting more means you're selfish, greedy, or ungrateful. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Wanting more isn't a sign of arrogance, it's a sign of alignment. It's proof that your soul recognizes there's more available to you, and it refuses to settle. That desire, that hunger, that fire in your chest, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to honor. You weren't born to live in the shadows of your potential. You weren't created to simply survive. You were designed to thrive. And thriving means expansion. It means stepping beyond what's safe, beyond what's expected, beyond what others believe you deserve. But here's the hard truth. The more you want, the more resistance you'll face, not just from the world, but from within. Your mind will try to talk you out of it. People around you will project their fears onto you. You'll hear voices saying, "Who do you think you are?" And the answer is simple. You're someone who finally stopped playing small. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Stop watering down your dreams so they don't feel threatened. Your success does not take away from anyone else's. Your elevation is not their limitation. If anything, your courage to rise becomes permission for others to do the same. But you don't need permission, you don't need approval, you don't need applause, you just need to decide that your dreams matter more than their opinions. Wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful. You can be thankful for what you have and still hungry for more. Gratitude and ambition are not enemies, they're partners. Gratitude says, I appreciate this. Ambition says, but I know there's more. And both can exist within you at the same time. In fact, they must. Because without gratitude, you'll never feel fulfilled. But without ambition, you'll never grow. Too many people settle because they fear being judged for their hunger. They fear being labeled as too much. But too much for who? Too bold for people who never dared to dream? Too focused for those who gave up on themselves? That's not your problem. That's their limitation. And you are not required to limit yourself to fit inside their comfort zone. Wanting more means you see a future others can't yet imagine. It means you believe in yourself enough to chase the life you know you were made for. That kind of self-belief is rare, and it's powerful, because once you stop apologizing for your ambition, you start walking with authority. You stop tiptoeing and start taking up space. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. There is no honor in staying small just to be liked. There is no reward for dimming your light to protect someone else's ego. The world needs your full brilliance, your full fire, your full power. Wanting more doesn't make you selfish. It makes you alive. It means your spirit is awake. And that is something to be celebrated, not silenced. So go after it. Go after all of it. Not just the safe dreams, not just the acceptable goals. Chase the life that scares you because it's so big. Because if it doesn't scare you, it's not stretching you. And if it's not stretching you, it's not growing you. Wanting more is not the problem. The problem is thinking you have to justify it. You don't. You just have to want it enough to never again apologize for it. Power doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't show up when you ask politely or when you hope quietly in the background. Power rises when you decide to stop asking for permission and start taking action with conviction. For too long, you've been conditioned to believe that you need approval before you speak up, before you move forward, before you dream bigger. You've been taught to wait until someone else validates your worth, your talent, your readiness. But the truth is, no one is coming to crown you. No one is going to hand you the keys to your future. You must claim them for yourself. Playing by the rules of approval keeps you stuck. It puts your destiny in the hands of people who don't have to live with your regret. And what's worse, most of those people are too afraid to unlock their own potential, so they'll never give you permission to unlock yours. That's why it's time to stop waiting for a green light from anyone. Be the green light. Walk in your authority. Speak like you belong in every room you enter, even if no one else believes you do yet. Boldness is not arrogance, it's not aggression, it's clarity, it's knowing who you are, what you carry, and refusing to be silenced by fear or rejection. Power comes when you take ownership of your path, when you stop asking can I and start declaring I will. That shift changes everything. It changes how you talk, how you walk, how you show up. The energy you carry begins to magnetize opportunities, not because you're lucky, but because you finally believed enough to act without hesitation. People will tell you to stay humble. They'll say you're being too much. But what they really mean is that your confidence makes them uncomfortable. And that's not your burden to carry. Humility doesn't mean shrinking. It doesn't mean making yourself invisible so others can shine. Real humility is power under control. It's standing in your truth while allowing others to stand in theirs. But it never requires you to dim your light. Ever. Every dream that was ever achieved started with someone deciding to stop waiting. They didn't wait for applause. They didn't wait for reassurance. They just started, even when they were scared, even when no one believed. And that's the key. You can't wait to feel fearless before you move. Fear will always be there, whispering doubt. But power doesn't wait for fear to leave. Power acts in spite of fear. You already have what you need. The voice, the talent, the vision, it's already inside you. But the only way it becomes real is when you activate it. When you stop playing quiet and start living loud. When you stop hoping for someone to notice you and start commanding attention through purpose and presence. That's not ego. That's alignment. And aligned people don't need permission to move. They move because the calling is louder than the fear. Think about how much time you've wasted holding yourself back because you were afraid of judgment. How many ideas have died inside you because you waited for someone to say, you're ready? The truth is you were ready the moment you felt the desire. The moment the vision landed in your heart, it meant you were qualified to pursue it. But qualification means nothing without action. Stop waiting. Stop asking. Step into the role you were born for. Power doesn't knock. It doesn't ask politely. It kicks down doors when necessary. And now it's your turn. Walk into your future like it already belongs to you because it does. Not because someone said so, but because you finally chose to believe it. Everything you want in life starts in your mind. Every dream, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with a decision, a shift in perspective, a bold choice to believe something different about yourself. The next level of you doesn't begin when you get more money, more followers, or more recognition. It begins the moment your mindset changes. Because until you believe you deserve more, you'll keep settling for less. Until you start thinking differently, nothing in your world will change, no matter how hard you try to fix the surface. Your mindset is the thermostat for your life. If it's set on average, everything you do will rise or fall to match that level. You might have moments of breakthrough, but you'll always return to what you believe is normal for you. That's why so many people sabotage their own success. Not because they're not capable, but because they never shifted what they believe they deserve. The most powerful upgrade you'll ever make isn't in your bank account or your wardrobe. It's in your mind. You have to see yourself as more before you become more. That means walking into rooms with the energy of the future you, even when your present circumstances don't reflect it yet. It means talking like a leader before anyone calls you one. It means preparing for opportunities before they arrive. That's not delusion. That's preparation. That's belief in action. Most people wait to feel confident before they move, but true transformation happens when you move first and the confidence follows. You act like it's already yours, and eventually the world catches up. But mindset isn't just about motivation or positive thinking. It's about rewiring the patterns that have held you back for years. The stories you've told yourself, like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, people like me don't win, those are mental prisons. And every time you believe them, you reinforce them. To unlock the next level of you, those old beliefs have to die. They have to be replaced with something more powerful, something aligned with your future, not your past. That takes work, it takes self-awareness, it takes catching the thoughts that no longer serve you and replacing them with ones that do. It takes surrounding yourself with voices that speak life into you, not fear. It takes choosing day after day to believe that your life can look different no matter where you started, no matter how many times you've failed. Because the only thing separating you from the life you want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. The next level of you isn't built on talent alone. Plenty of talented people never rise because they never believed they were worthy. Your potential is useless if your mind is still stuck in survival mode. You can't create abundance while thinking like a victim. You can't lead while still doubting your value. You can't expand while clinging to the safety of who you used to be. At some point, you have to make the internal shift. The one that says, I'm done with small thinking. I'm done with fear-based living. I'm done waiting for someone to tell me I'm enough. Because you are enough. You always were. And once your mindset aligns with that truth, everything around you starts to change. Not instantly, but inevitably. Your words shift. Your habits evolve. Your energy attracts different opportunities. You stop chasing and you start choosing. And that's when you know the upgrade has begun. Not on the outside, but deep within. It all starts in the mind. Change that and you change everything. This is not a phase. This is a rebirth. The moment you decide to unlock the next level of yourself, you are not just changing a few habits or improving a couple of routines. You are transforming who you are at your core. You're shedding the skin of who you used to be, not temporarily, but permanently. This isn't something you try for a few weeks and abandon when it gets hard. This is a one-way door. Once you step through, there's no going back. Too many people treat personal growth like a seasonal thing. They get inspired, fired up, ready to chase something bigger. But when life hits, when adversity shows up, when progress slows, they retreat. They call it a rough patch or say maybe it just wasn't the right time. But if you keep viewing your evolution as a temporary sprint instead of a lifelong shift, you'll always revert to the old version of you, the one that was familiar, the one that was safe, the one that was quietly dying on the inside but knew how to smile through it. But when you truly unlock the next level of you, something deeper shifts. You don't just want change, you require it. You breathe it. You embody it. You start waking up with a different kind of hunger, one that refuses to settle. You begin to look at your old habits and patterns and realize they no longer serve you. The things you used to tolerate become unacceptable. The people you once clung to feel distant, not because you hate them, but because you no longer match their frequency. You've changed, and not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Rebirth isn't comfortable. It's messy. It's lonely at times. You'll grieve parts of yourself you thought would be with you forever. You'll have days when the old you tries to resurrect, when your doubt creeps back in, when fear tries to convince you that you've gone too far and should go back. But there is no going back, because you've already seen what's possible. You've already tasted the power of living in alignment, and once you do, settling becomes impossible. This version of you, the one that's rising, is built differently. You don't respond to life the way you used to. You don't chase validation like you once did. You don't fold under pressure or crumble under judgment. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You walk like someone who knows who they are, even if the world hasn't caught up yet. That's the power of rebirth. It doesn't wait for recognition. It declares, this is who I am now, and lives accordingly. But make no mistake, transformation isn't about perfection. You'll still have weak moments. You'll still wrestle with doubt. But the difference is, now you don't stay there. Now you don't unpack and live in that space. You feel it, face it, and move forward. Because the new you doesn't need to be flawless to be powerful. You just need to be consistent, intentional, and relentless in protecting who you're becoming. There's nothing temporary about this. This is the real you. Not the version shaped by other people's opinions, not the one molded by pain or fear, but the one that was buried under years of noise, now finally breaking free. This isn't a glow-up, this is a takeover. And the world won't recognize you at first because they're still attached to your old image. But that's okay. Let them adjust. You're not here to meet expectations, you're here to exceed them.